Okay, we're getting an audience. Hi, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Dhruv. I'm from Amity Online. Welcome to the Amity Online webinar knowledge series. Uh, I see a lot of attendees raising their hands. So thank you. That this gives us a good acknowledgement that you can all see us. You can all see me. I am the moderator for today's webinar, and I'll very soon be introducing you to the main speaker, to our guest today. Before we do that, we'll just do a couple of checks so that we just get a good confirmation that we're all alive, and we're surely alive in the sense that we have to be alive given the current pandemic, and we obviously are in a very different condition and an unprecedented one at that. But so let me first of all ask you, how are all of you doing? I hope you're doing safe. You're obviously making up for all the necessary precautions, and you are covering your faces and following all the government health guidelines as far as the COVID-19 situation is concerned. All right. So all participants, give me a hi by clicking the hand wave button on your system. All right, great. So that gives us a good, great. Hi Tushar, hi Gulzar, Deepti, Pragnay, Sachin. I think we have over 200 people already in the webinar. We'll wait for another couple of minutes before we have all the participants. All right, good evening to all of you. A very big hi from Amity Online. My name is Dhruv. Hi Sneha, hi Joshua. All right, so we have a lot of participants. Okay, so I think you're all aware of the topic for today. I'll reiterate and sort of outline the agenda for today, which is the topic is the hiring manager's perspective on online business programs. So clearly, you all know that online learning has become an instant fad in the last few months. So much so that regular campus going students are depending on online LMS to continue their learning. This really, evens the field for education. It gives a level playing field for online and business degrees for the first time ever in the history of education. So, will this change in perspective stay forever, or is it just a temporary phenomena? We will certainly find out in this enthralling and engaging, webinar. I have with me Mr. Arun Prasad Kesri. I call him the people's man. Why? Because he comes with rich 15 years of plus experience in managing employees, people, labor, industrial relations, along with the advisory, HR, statutory compliance on employment laws, both national and international. Uh, so to put it in a nutshell, he has been very, very proficient in managing the entire gamut of HR, human resource as a function. In his continuous journey of more than 15 years, he has built an inclusive and diverse workforce, which has been rooted in an open culture of curiosity, courage, incisiveness, and integrity. As far as his overall professional experience with respect to companies is concerned, he has been associated with Samsung India and NIS Sparta previously as an HR professional. He has worked with Ericsson India, Ericsson Global India, as the head of HR, legal and compliance. After that, he was worked with British Telecom as in head of employee relations and HR compliance. And in his current role in HSBC India, he is the vice president employee relations. So he comes with a very, very rich background as far as human resources and peoples are concerned. And based out of my many interactions with him in the past, I always call him the people's man. So why we will just trying to arrive at a good topic for a webinar, which could give good insights about online education. I think it's always good to hear it from the horse's mouth, because it's the hiring manager who know what the trend for online education is going to be. Like, so I think we have got a very, very prolific guest for tonight. Let me very quickly outline the key takeaways for this session. So the key takeaways would be around sort of four broad aspects. One of which is, do employers value online business degrees? The balancing act between specializing and overall development. How to come across as a stronger candidate, which is obviously a little exclusive to the topic, and how to make learning your strength. So these are the four key takeaways, key agenda that the speaker is going to deliberate upon. I'll very quickly tell you the format of this webinar. We'll let the speaker do the talking for, let's say, half an hour, 45 minutes. Let him speak his mind, and then we will take the Q&A. We'll begin the Q&A in the later half of the webinar, wherein we take on your specific questions. I'm your moderator, so you can type in your questions in the Q&A section, which I will pass on to the speaker. But that's not for now. That's after he's finished. Before I hand over to Mr. Kesri, I will just very quickly run a poll, which is obviously on the topic, to understand what exploration stage are you on as far as online learning is concerned. So we come across a lot of people who are still sort of very naive and very nascent at this understanding the whole concept of online education. Some are highly aware. Some are so much aware that they are already doing a program and they are now, considering more online options. So I'm just going to launch a poll, which is will be in your screen in some few seconds. I think it's already there. It's a multiple choice question which says, what stage of exploration are you in with online learning? Are you in the discovery stage? You feel that online learning is very new to you. You're in the awareness stage. You are somehow familiar. You need to obviously dig more, get to the depth of things. Or you are into the consideration stage, which says that you are fully aware and you just perhaps finalizing certain credible options as far as online education is concerned. So the poll is in front of you. Which stage of exploration are you in with online learning? Are you in the discovery stage? Online is very new to you, awareness, or consideration? And it's absolutely fine to be in the discovery stage. It's cool to be in any of the stages, but just so that you're very naive does not mean that you're a fool. I mean, it's cool to be in the discovery stage, and it's cool to be start from a blank slate. So thank you for your response. A very heartwarming response. About 35% of the people are in the discovery stage, which is quite a good number. About 40% of it's changing, but I can see 39 to 40, 41%. So 40% of the people are attendees today, Mr. Kesri, are in the awareness stage. They are familiar with the online education concept. And about 27% are fully aware, wherein they know about online education. Some of them have done an online education, or perhaps planning to finalize one of the credible options for doing an online program. Thanks, people. I'm just ending the polling here. I think you all have answered. You've been a very attentive audience. I really appreciate the fact that you took this poll. All right. So I will now hand over the baton to Mr. Prasad, Mr. Arun Prasad Kesri, the people's man, and I hand it over to you, sir. I would request all the audience to be patient. We'll take the Q&A in the later half of the webinar. All right. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you, MAT. It is so such a privilege to always be, aligned to an university which is giving a lot of, curriculum to people, lot of scope in terms of study, and subjects are there. And across the globe, you are pioneering into such things. So it is very happy to be associated and be on the advisory board of MAT, and together we are all in this journey. And I'm happy for today also. The topic definitely is very interesting, and I'm going to present it out now in front of you. Give me just a couple of seconds. I'm going to present the slide for you, all of you. So here, I'm Arun Kesri, and I have a philosophy here to be shared, that we must return as individuals with compassion for all. That's the agenda. We should now carry it out during these lockdown, COVID, Corona times, and we are we need to be quite empathetic about everything and anything happening across, and we all are doing our best, in fact, to support the entire world together. The topic for today is very interesting, and it is like it is something which has been a lot of debate. It is debatable. It has been a lot of debates have happened over it, and we have seen the journey. Being in the HR, few of us who are in the HR, we have seen the journey, how it has been, and we have seen the perception also around it. The perception of either, the perspective which we are talking about from the hiring manager's perspective, like, do the online business, or is the online business management degree worth it or not? This has always been debatable discussion and all, and we have all our own perception around it. We have all our own answers around it, and I'm going to take you further on it, that how does that answer right now. Now, if you look at your own thoughts couple of years back, and if you look at your own thoughts current, and the thoughts which are going to upcoming in the future, you will understand the difference between your own thoughts and perception over a period of time, what has happened, how it shaped, and where are we. I'm going to take you on the next part, which talks about that the key takeaways, with Dhruv did mention that do employers value online business degree or not? That's one part of it. The second part of it will talk about a balance between specialization or specializing in a course skills, or something which is relevant to your career prospect, depending on your career trajectory, or the overall development is something which is important now. I would also take you through that what all do we need to do, and how do we need to come across as a stronger candidate. Because when I say stronger, it means that not only within, we also have to be stronger in terms of our own skills, our own competencies, which we are talking about. As a human, we may be very strong at certain things, but the skills and competencies which are required in the future world or in the current world, are we really strong in terms of that or not? And then, the final takeaway would be out of it, that how to make that learning your strength. If you look at the couple of weeks which has passed by, or the 2 months, we have seen so many webinars happening across the country, across the globe, and there are a lot of people who have been talking about, and the similarity among all the talks which we have been hearing is not different. It is one line and one word, and that is upskill yourself. Do the learning. This is the time, this is the moment, and that is the agenda of uh, the current workforce who is there and present across the globe. We all are learning today, and because we have now ample time to do that, although we are engaged in our work activities, our own day schedules, we also are engaged in our household stuff right now, because of the limitations we are facing. But still, the learning is continuing. And look at the participants you all have, today. It's again a form of learning, where you're listening to from somebody, and it is a learning for me when I'm going to take away the questions and all from you and answer them. It will be a learning for me as well, and for all the people who have been on this uh, you know uh, on this webinar. Now, let us understand what is this online business degree all about. The online business degree is an academic degree that can be earned. It talks about that it is a online business degree is something which is an academic degree. When I say academic degree, it means that it has value. It has value. It has an approval. If you look at the approval, we do have two institutions in the country. One is the UGC and one is the AICTE. We as mature people, we know what is UGC, what is AICTE. Therefore, I'm calling it academic degree that can be earned primarily or entirely through use of internet connected computer or your smartphone, rather than attending college in a traditional campus setting. That is called online business degree. Now, the increasing use of IoT worldwide. When I say IoT, it is the Internet of Things which is being used worldwide. The improvements in technology we have seen, the AI, the machine learning, the robotics which we talk about, these are all technological advancements which have happened over a period of time. And the need for people to have flexible college schedules, the mindset where I should have a flexible college schedule. I should be, things should move as per convenience to me, so that I am able to do what I need to do to run my family, to run my business, or to run my institution. Also, simultaneously, I am somewhere procuring an online business degree, which is helping me enhance my own skills and making me a competent person for the world. While you are working, you are engaged somewhere in your work life, or in your assignments, in your projects, or in your business, in your family, but still you have a liberty to do that. And that's the beauty of online business degree we are talking about. While it has led to a proliferation of online business colleges also. You have seen, when I talk about online, I will not name, we all know that we have online so many colleges which are there, which are imparting degrees. And it is not by virtue of they doing themselves, it is the government which is also pushing them. I will come to a data where we will see that how government is also pushing it, that we need to become a literate nation, a nation which is educated. Why does the government always talks about digitalization? It is because we all need to become a developed nation. Right now we are developing at a good pace, but we all together need to be educated in terms of reaching that place. MIT University, with whom I also have been associated, the MIT University Online is one of the pioneers which awards bachelor degrees, which also awards master degrees, and also award PG diplomas under various streams as their top online programs. You go to the website, you will see that there are a lot of courses which are there, and it has a bouquet of lot of subjects which are being there. You can pick it up depending on your own need and aspiration. Now, why do we need to do an online business degree? Why do we need to have that? It is something which is a well-researched curriculum. When I say well-researched, it means that there are people who are, sitting behind it and doing a study around it. There are a lot of scholars, there are a lot of industry practitioners who are, working on these curriculum, who doing the research around it and bringing that curriculum in a fashion, in a manner where these students, like all the students who are either participating today or the students who are worldwide across the country who are there, it becomes easier for them to understand the business. If you look at our own subjects, they have been using so tough languages which sometimes were easier for understanding, but sometimes were very difficult for us to understand. Now we have the researchers who are doing this, and these researchers are coming from nowhere outside, but they are coming from the industry itself, where renowned faculty teach the students with a cutting edge technology. And the close industry and academic partnership which is happening, the amalgamation of the industry people with the universities, with the colleges. You have seen a lot of industry people now participating in a lot of webinars for the colleges. Why is that? That is the need of the hour, because the industry experience, the practical experience, we need to have imbibe, we need to give it to the people, to the students who are there in the college. So when those students come to us as professionals, as interns or full-time employees or part-time or any way, in any form of association, we are at least able to see the kind of expectation which we have been hoping from them. We would be able to see that expectation flowing in, and that is the reason there is this lot of industry and academic partnership and connect. And similarly, the online business which I am talking about has also taken the shape of that. Now it helps the student gain the relevant and the latest information about it. Look at your MBA books. The MBA current curriculum is MBA 1.0. We still have been studying the same MBA books which have been, read by our own, 15, 20 years back, 40 years back. The same curriculum has been followed by those same writers which is there. Now things are changing. Everything is becoming dynamic now. Look at this lockdown period. This lockdown period has erased everything, and everything new has come up. We talk about new normal. I will take you to that new normal also. You will understand what exactly am I talking about, that new normal. How is it going to be and how is it relevant, and the latest information is very, very important for us to groom ourselves, upscale ourselves. And that is the beauty of online business degree. The online business degree also has, certain good aspects about it. And those I have, just mentioned here. They are, number one is accessibility. You can access online lectures asynchronously anywhere anywhere, sitting anywhere. You can do that. You have an access to it. Number two, you have a flexibility option. Non-cohort model is not there. It gives a flexibility of learning experience to you. You are the boss. You are the manager of your own, thoughts. You know how to do it, where to do it, and when to do it. It also talks about diversity. When we talk about diversity, it says that expansive network gives online student a real-time edge over anything else, because they are not manned, they are independent in their thoughts, they are only mentored, given guidance and all. Options are available, allows the student to find a program of their interest. If I have a program which is of my interest, I can choose that. There are so many programs which are there, and I can choose one of those programs and upscale myself or upskill myself from there. So in order to the skills which I need, I can get those regardless of where you are living. Wherever you are living, you can continue your online business degree course from wherever. That is missing somewhere in the other form of education. The technology which I am talking about, technology no doubt is today getting into each and everybody's life. Technology is something which is now governing the life. Our life revolves around the technology. If we are somewhere IoT, the IoT, Internet of Things, when we are not connected somewhere, we feel lost. So that's the beauty of technology which is there. And a student can easily connect through live lectures, online discussion groups, and video conferences. That's the beauty of online business degrees, which is happening. Look at the current trend also. Now, interesting facts about online business degree education in India, and it is nothing. If you Google it, you will find this. If you really go and Google it, you will find that the online education market in India was worth $247 million in 2016, and it is expected to grow about $1.96 billion by next year, 2021. And this is a compound annual growth that a rate of 52%. This is a data which is an old data, last year data. But if you look at the data now, the data will give you a very, very different picture. Very different picture. You are aware, even the Harvard Business School, they have also gone online. Because this is the need of the hour. The number of users enrolled for various online learning courses is estimated to be 1.6 million in 2016, which is expected to grow 9.6 million by the end of next year. It is estimated that there is a 175% increase in the cost of classroom education. And this online education is more preferred because it is cost effective. Mind it is cost effective. Nearly 48% population in India, which is between the age group of 15 and 40 years, they have high aspiration but lower income, and is said to be a good contributor and a target audience and market and people and students who go for online business education. And the acceptability of this online channel is such high in younger demographic than any other across the globe. It is. And these factors clearly show the involvement and future potential of online business degree education in India. And now online business education is a new normal. Now we're seeing it is a new normal. The private education sector has a great responsibility to offer online e-learning to more than 60 million college students and 1.5 billion school students worldwide. And these are some of the interesting facts about the online business degree education in India. Now let me come to the first takeaway. People say that Do employers value online business degree or not? Yes or no? So if you, I did mention in the beginning itself, if you look back, then your answer would be one among them, yes or no. There will be some people who will be saying yes, there will be some people who will be saying no. If you answer from the current perspective, you will have a different set of answers now. And many kinds of hiring managers come up with varying options. The old school of the hiring managers and the recruiters decidedly were against online business degrees, no doubt about it. They, everybody, wherever you applied, they used to mention, no, we require a full-time MBA degree, we require a full-time BBA degree, we require a full-time PG diploma degree, we require a full-time. That was the old school of hiring managers and recruiters thought. But now it is changing. It is changing now. Now, do the employers value business degrees? So, few say online business degrees only matter at the entry stage, particularly if the candidate is fresh out of college, then it does matter. Some other people say the perception of online business degrees has changed dramatically from what it was 6 or 7 years ago, and online business degrees are the future of education. Some people now say that it is the future of education. There are some set of people. The other set of people say that it is not the future. No, 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 no. Please don't be in doubt. It is not the future. It is right now. It is current. Now, today. Look at yourselves, look at the people around you, look at the world around you. It is today, right now. Since education has now improved, because the quality of education has improved, and that the schools have taken pains to tone up the quality of their courses and delivery models, because there is a stiff competition around the world, around the globe, and therefore the school, colleges, universities, they have to tone up the quality, and therefore only they will be able to deliver those courses which are easily imbibed by people, or taken by the people, or learned by the people, or studied by the people. That is what the intent right now is. The hiring managers have also become more confident about the utility of online courses, and employability of graduates from these courses has started happening already. Now now let me take you to what is that balance which we do require while is it specializing a course, or is it an overall development? What do we really need to do? Do we need to specialize in something like HR, marketing, finance, digital marketing, some other subjects of commerce, finance, accounting? What do we really need to do? Is it the time of a specialization, or is it a time of overall development? I say it is a time for both. You simultaneously need to specialize. When specialization does gives a head start and an edge to you, because somewhere you become a COE. But it also, specialization also gives a head start. That's very true. If you have a clear idea in your mind, and you know that the career trajectory which you want to pursue, or which you aspire for upon graduation, if you are clear about it, if you are really strong enough, if you are clear in your thought and mindset, that the career trajectory which I am looking forward to is this, then that specialization is correct. Go ahead with it. But simultaneously also look at overall development, because overall development will give you an opportunity to learn the new life skills of education. Such activities like critical thinking, creative art and craft work, decision making skills, problem solving skills, and ability to collaborate and communicate well, along with the sense of responsibility towards people as well as the society at large, to contribute towards a good employee experience. When you do that overall development, it will finally lead to a good customer, good consumer experience, good employee experience, good societal experience. Therefore, you also need to do that overall development right now. As far as possible, hone your skills in a manner where you are able to do the entire round, full, we call it whole round of development of a person. And then what becomes, you become a brand, then you become a brand, and that brand then getting into a demand. That's the fundamental of it. How to come across as a stronger candidate? If you really want to become a stronger candidate, what are those things which you really need to do? There are certain skills which are required, and that is number one. I have narrated some 16, it can be 30, 40, 100 more. The skills are that you need to have a commercial awareness. The commercial awareness, when I talk about, you need to have the ben business acumen which is there. You know, need to understand what business is, what is the revenue ROI we talk about, what are those efforts which are going to, you know, your deliverables which are going to bring benefits to the organization or to you. So that commercial awareness you need to have. You need to understand value of money, the money. You need to have a very clear communication. Let it be verbal communication, written communication. Therefore, if you do have time, please practice writing also. When you practice writing, get get a knowledge of drafting, and that drafting is a very beautiful skill. There are a lot of courses also around it. Do that. So communication, verbal, written, any form of communication is very, very important. When I say communication, it means that it has to be clear. It has to be a clear communication. Let it be non-verbal, verbal, anywhere. Teamwork is something which is very important. Teamwork is not only in the organization. Teamwork is always everywhere. Everywhere it is a teamwork. If you, even if you have four friends and then you are planning to do something, that's again a teamwork. That is to be very important. The fourth point is negotiation and persuasion skill. You should know how to negotiate. Negotiate is negotiating is a skill. You need to understand. When you start understanding that skill, and persuading, that is also a skill. That's basically taught under the sales and marketing branch. But we all need to know, understand that, and any manner we have that learning also. Problem solving skill. When I say problem solving, it doesn't mean that, you know, you are doing a BAU, or you are appointed for a duty, or you are appointed for a job, and that there you are doing a problem solving. No, you have to think out of the box. You have to go ahead of the circle or your circumference. You have to go value add to some something which is there around. There are people who are finding it trouble or difficulty in, and then you go give some piece of your mind, give some aspect of your thoughts, give a solution to it. That's called the problem solving skill. You also need to have a leadership skill. Leadership skill is not only for the leaders there in the organization or anywhere in the world. It is you. And those leaders who are today in the organization, leading the organization, or the leaders in the society, they are not, you know, they were also people like you only. And they have been, you know, they have honed that skill, and today they have those leadership skill, and therefore they are marching ahead. Organizing is something which is very important. Organizing starts from your home. You have to organize your home. Today we all are sitting at home in the under the lockdown, you know, even if we are under unlock 1.0. If you do the organizing part at your home, you see, you look at your own spaces from where you are doing your learning. Have you organized it? Look at your own rooms. Look at your own place where you are the dwelling place which we call about, or the homes, or the kitchen. It's all organizing begins from there today. That, but organizing also begins from a place called organization establishment, where you start going working, and there you have to organize your stuff, your work, in a manner. You have to prioritize it, which is first, which is second, which is third, and when, which time of the day do I need to give, assign this time to what subject and what project and all. Those are organizing. We have studied in our BBA and MBA classes, those, you know, five organizing, and is one part of it. Perseverance and motivation is something. Keep following, and then keep yourself motivated towards it. Ability to work under pressure is very, very important. Don't panic. Don't panic. Lockdown shuru ho gaya, we started panicking. Don't panic. Don't panic. Look at it. Kya hoga? Maximum what will happen? Then you will have an answer. Think of worst, and then, you know, think back. Then you'll have an answer to everything. Ability to work under pressure is something which is very, very important for anybody. Any organization you go, anywhere you work, the ability to work under pressure is something which is rewarded also. Confidence is something which you need to grow yourself, and there are people who are going to support you, but you yourself need to be first feeling confident, then only you have to manage ambiguity. There should be no ambiguity. कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, please go and study it, पढ़ लो, उसके बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी ले लो, have a read around it, then you will understand. So ambiguity should not be there. Anybody, I don't call it for, when I talk to my HR friends also, they say मुझे लगा था ऐसे, मुझे लगा था वैसे. No assumptions. Is it written or not? Is it there or not? Have you read or not? Have you read the correct statement or not? So you have to manage your ambiguity. Agility is something very important. Agility is the need of the hour. Resilience is the again. Agility मतलब अपने अंदर वो चेंज लाने की क्षमता. Resilience उस चीज को समझने की क्षमता. Analytical skills is very important, and entrepreneurial skills again. IT and computer skills is the base of everything. आपको वो आना ही पड़ेगा. अपनी मोबाइल स्मार्टफोन्स आज हम चला रहे हैं. When we are running our smartphones, nobody came and taught us. It was we who learned because we wanted to learn it, because we wanted to explore it. Similarly, our computers today, we all are on Zoom meetings. This has how it has explored over a period of time. Not before 2 months, there were many people who were there on Zoom calls, but today we are. Then how do we need to make our learning, how to make learning your strength? So probably what I'll say that learning strength combined with our talent, our abilities, our existing skills and our knowledge, and help us take in new information, education, and these strengths are ways of thinking, feeling or acting that can be used effectively. Now, to make your learning as your strength, you have to discover, you have to develop and apply. Some of you may not be aware or may be aware about your strengths you possess. Some people know, say, I know my strength. जरा 5 strength बता के देखिए. You will understand that do you really know those strength or not? 5 weakness बता के देखिए. Do you really know your weakness or not? Do that. Many of you may feel uncomfortable talking about your strength in public. You would say, no, let me not talk about it. Let me not talk about my weakness also. Please start talking about it at least to yourself, so that you get the confidence that what are those weaknesses which I can talk to people also. What are those strengths which I can talk to people also. Most of you may even think that you don't have any strength. But there are a lot of strengths in you. Strength is there in you. Therefore, you have lived so long. So make learning your strength. When you start learning, when you start educating yourself, getting knowledge, it will give you strength. Begin identifying and talking about them with others. What do you really need? I want this, I want that. I want to have information around, I want to, as an HR, I want to have an information about recruitment practices. I want to have an understanding about payroll processes, compliance. I want to know comp and benefit. Under marketing, I want to know what is digital marketing, what is brand marketing, what is how does it different from other aspects of marketing. When you start talking, then only you will be able to support yourself. Think about how you might use them in your online education and career. There is hell lot of things, content available online. Please study that, please. So because knowing and working with your strength will only help you to be a successful person, and that is something which is going to motivate you. And the reality is, yes, the new world is unprecedented and unpredictable. That's the reality of today. I'll take you through some of the current trends which are there. The new beginning will be a big impact for all of us. What we need to do that everything will be factory reset, and it is presumed to be a new beginning. Definitely. What do we need to do? We need to become adaptable. We have, but adaptability is the need of the hour. And think of a business and lifestyle model that are easily adopted. कुछ ऐसा सोचो जो अब चल सकता है, अब बिक सकता है, अब आ सकता है, अब need है. That is the adaptability. Second is the efficiency. Grow your efficiency. Reimagine that we refer to as being efficient, and efficiency cannot be कि मैंने अपना 9 से 6 नौकरी कर ली, efficient है. No, please don't look at it. You have to complete a task in a specified time frame. That is more important. 9 से 6 नहीं. Opportunities, there are a lot of opportunity. The new normal is opportunity. Every crisis brings with it an opportunity, and we need to evaluate. This crisis has also brought an opportunity. Look at the opportunity to learn, having to attend webinars, and those webinars are free webinars for you. For me also, there are a lot of webinars which are free webinars. They are learning modules which are free. Earlier, there were money which were being charged to go to those 5-star hotels in order to attend those webinars or attend those conferences. Today, they are all coming up free, and we have big leaders speaking. There are so many big industry stalwarts, the leaders who are talking all about across on the web, and that's all coming for free. Grab that opportunity, and then when you grab that opportunity, you would then emerge. And it is that something which is required. The core capabilities have to be developed, and you need to become a new person in this new normal. Inclusivity is something which is very important. Let us develop business model that are attached to the premises, and we need to know. Look, inclusivity means what? See, read the line. Maruti or other car manufacturing companies, they are not manufacturing cars, they are manufacturing ventilators, because ventilators are required. So everyone is working and in manufacturing ventilators from those manufacturing units. Now they have started operating and getting into the manufacturing of vehicles, because that was not the need. The need was this. So they have started introducing them because that was the need. It was required. And everyone have started from working or studying from home. That's the new normal. The new normal is also universalism. This pandemic has not seen any race, religion, color, caste, creed, language or border. जिसको जिसको जहां जहां जाना था corona has gone. It has reached where you and I would have not reached also. It has reached that place also. And the conduct should attach when I talk about universalism, we have to be such people, we have to empathize, and our conduct should be such that the unity and brotherhood should be seen by people. And that is the relevance, which is the required. The big concept, when we talk about the big concept, what is that big concept? Employee experience will be the new HR. Of course, the employees, the consumers, the customers around, their experience will be the new HR, and that is the need. Please resonate with it. Please grow yourself into it, so that you are also able to contribute to it. You have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. These are the 3 mantras. Online hybrid will be in the new normal. So the topic on which I am talking about today is similar. Everything would be hybrid and online. Look at the schools, look at the colleges, look at the family, look at the children at your home, your niece, your daughters, your sister's daughter, or your son. They all are what? They are doing all hybrid, face to face, although, but hybrid, online. And that is the new normal. And that is the new normal which is there. You need to do. Therefore, online business degrees are going to be one of the important aspect of our life now. The workplace will be more flexible, we know about it, and the trust will grow. Today the trust is growing. 9 बजे पहुंच गया, 6 बजे निकल गया, those are no more. We are working from home. Now what is happening? We are working from home, and somewhere some people are contributing some more hours to it, and some people are contributing less hours to it. But the trust is there that at least you are safe, healthy, and then the work is talked about. That look, there are certain deliverables. Let's do that, but keep yourself safe, keep yourself healthy. That's more important. The new phase will be reinventing, of course, for all of us. The hiring managers would have a very different perspective now. They would understand now that it is not important only for those with a full-time degree. It is those people who are with the skills, competencies required to be hired for that job or for that. And therefore, it is advised that do not waste this pandemic. What you should do now, you should leverage the new opportunity in the new format, be creative and keep learning, adapt. These are the 7 steps of resilience. Adapt, prepare for the next, invest in yourself, look around for factual information. I again told you, no ambiguity, factual information. Use experts for mentoring. There are a lot of experts who are available. Please use them for mentoring. Look way forward. Leverage online options like online business education and degrees. Please leverage them and add those to your educational qualification, and therefore you will see a difference, tomorrow once you go back and things become normal. Because the organizations are also, in need of future ready leaders. They are finding it difficult to skilled manpower is missing somewhere, and there is a dearth of it, and there are a lot of people who are, a lot of organizations who are wanting for it. So you need to have those skill developments, and technical as well as management skills both are important for us. Choose those development programs, those online business studies degrees. Choose them which will enhance your career, which can give a boost to it, which can catalyze the process of your being in the industry more relevant. That's important. And lastly, with a positive note, we must return as individuals with compassion for all. Reiterate good experience for all your employees. Happier times will be back soon. And this unimagined, unprecedented phase of history will eventually pass. And let us think of this as an opportunity. We all should think it as an opportunity. Let's be very positive about it. Let us reposition ourselves, not just to survive, but to thrive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kesri. Yeah. So you need to just stop the screen share options.
I will.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I think very, in fact, one of the participants who also happens to be a student just messaged me that this is more like a mentorship that you're doing with our attendees, which is so heartening to hear. Am I think audible, right?
You are audible. Yes.
Okay. I'll just okay.
All right, sir. So great, people. I think we have close to about 400 attendees, and all of them are perhaps glued to this webinar, and they feel that perhaps they have gained a lot. So on to your questions, people. I can take on your questions, starting with Pratik Agnihotri. Pratik has a question which says that please give all business aspect in marketing and HR. So, sir, if you could just elaborate and help people understand the various aspects of marketing and HR as a function, and what kinds of job opportunities.
See, see, I will, because I am an HR person, so I will talk more of HR and less of marketing. But yes, let me first begin with marketing. Marketing is something which is as a course and a curriculum, what I have seen is had evolved over a period of time, and it has penetrated in almost all the spheres. If you leave the HR part and the finance part in the organizations, there are very few people who are in the finance and HR. The other entire people who are there in the organizations, I'm not talking about an IT or ITS kind of an organization, but a sales organization. The entire sales force comes under from the marketing study. So that is the beauty of marketing, because you have lot of scope under marketing. It is not only from the sales which we talk about. It is designing, it is designing the product. It is also designing how do we need to create a brand, what are those communications around the brand, what are those selling pitches we need to do, what are those forms which are easily understood to the people, customers. So marketing is a big area which people should explore, and they are exploring it also. Now let me come to the HR part. In HR, there are typically 5-6 functions which are very important. One is the recruitment part, which we all see. Recruitment is something which eventually, when any MBA or a BBA graduate comes out of the college, they start doing the recruitment, because that is the lowest hanging fruit which they can do. Calling of candidates, looking at the CV, and then that's one phase of it. But again, if you look at the recruitment part, recruitment also has a lot of diversification. We have so clearly now the use of technology, the AI, which is being used under the recruitment part or the hiring part. is very, very different from old age recruitment processes. So that is one part of it. The second part of it definitely comes under the rewards and recognition, which we talk about. Performance management, we talk about. We also talk about payroll processes. There is a compliance need of a compliance person or a HR compliance person. There is also a need of employee relations people who are there on employment laws, who understand employment laws, and who read the employment laws, make it easy, relevant to the organization, and depending on the applicability of it, suggest their own organization on what exactly do we need to do and how do they need to navigate and become compliant. Also, there are work planning analytics which is there in the HR. So HR has also grown up as a big. Yesterday, organizations used to think HR to be a support function, and I'm in agreement to this. Today, HR is no more a support function. HR is a business function. HR is the prime important functions of any organization, because it is that part of the organization which builds the culture of the organization. So HR is something where there. So people who want to get into the HR domain or marketing domain, they can visit your website also. You have so clearly and beautifully mentioned what are those bachelor degrees, what are those MBA degrees, and what are those PG diploma degree. They can choose among them and then do the specialization around it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for answering that, sir. So Rachana has a question. It is obviously a little off the topic, but she herself is a recruiter and she works in a consulting firm. And so she obviously wanted to understand maximum about employers' selection choice. Example, sometimes employers are very rigid on qualification and education part. And I believe, and while they do that, they ignore some of the other capabilities. So it's a trade-off which she is hinting towards.
See,
what is the best that she can do? Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing what I also do, when I also face such challenges, these are basically challenges which are thrown to us. When I also face such challenges, what we do is that we go and have an answer to those challenges, that you have a perception or you have a understanding of a candidate from this perspective, and I would like to have an answer around it. Why do you require a full-time MBA? You have to elaborate in 2 points. Why do you need a person with this skill set? Why are you gender specific about a candidate? When I ask those couple of questions from that hiring manager, and then when I give the perspective which I have as a candidate who is not a full-time but a person from an online degree college, or who has done an online business degree, and somebody, why do we require a gender specific person? I have an answer to it. When I take those questions from the person and with the reasons, and when I throw my reasons to it and tell the person that now please match them and see that if I am able to give you this, will you still go for this? The person then will understand, because all human beings, we all live in perception. Everybody lives in perception. We have never because हमें क्या लगता है, हमें सबसे आसान चीज चाहिए. आसान नहीं. You are not creating a diverse culture then. Organization में आप diverse culture कैसे create करेंगे? How will you bring that? अगर आप सारी दुनिया में या पूरी कंपनी में people from the metro cities ही भर देंगे, how will you be able to build the culture? You will not. Look at the big companies. They don't do that. They never ask you, where are you from? Even today, the company, if you look at under the equal opportunity policy, they will give you an option, male, female, other. I would not like to answer. What does that mean? They are promoting something. So the recruiter has to then ask the question around it, that what are those reasons you have indicated because you are wanting this. If I have an answer to this under these parameters, will you be able to go in agreement and discuss it further? And then you'll get an answer.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to be very, very objective in your discussions.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, sir, for people who want to know more about recruitment and other things, which is slightly off the topic, I think we can share. If you allow, we can share your email address. after the session is
Definitely,
over.
people can reach out to me on
Yeah,
LinkedIn. I'm there on LinkedIn. They can
yeah,
reach
yeah,
out to me with
absolutely.
questions.
Okay. So Prabhakar sir has a question. He's basically asking that when an online program can be accessed from anywhere in the world, why should an Indian student access the program from an Indian institute when the scope is global? Please provide the real advantage. So before you start answering this question, sir, I just want to, as an online educator, if you can answer this. Prabhakar, yes, there are multiple global online platforms now who are offering online education. So if your question is why should you do it from an Indian institute? Because the Indian education or so for instance, the Amity Online MBA is currently ranked number 34 in the world by QS University World Ranking. So our online MBA is also global in nature, right? Just that if you perhaps do an online education degree from a country like US or UK, it comes that much more heavier on your pocket. As far as the credibility, the global recognition is concerned, I don't know about other institute, but as far as Amity is concerned, the Amity Online MBA, in fact, is the first and only university in India to get a UGC recognition. Besides that, we have global rankings. We are 34 in the world at this point, number one in Asia. And this is not what I'm saying. This is what the QS, which is also known as the Bible of global university rankings. So the course that you study here in India, the Amity Online MBA, for instance, we have people from Singapore. When you look at the class profile, you will typically find people from Singapore to
Dubai.
down the west, Dubai. In fact, yeah, a lot of people from UAE, Dubai. You know very well, Mr. Kesri, about the profile of our students. You have been visiting Amity University, the full-time setup, also a lot of times. So we have students from UK, Canada who are doing the Amity Online MBA because the program itself is global in nature. So that's your answer. If you want to expand on that, sir, I'll
Second,
be
you know what I did mention that what is the career trajectory you are looking at?
yes,
See, if your career trajectory you are looking at is that you need to settle somewhere in US in the coming 2 years time, and or you need to settle in US, UK, then if you really are aspiring for that, then that's a very different matter. But if you look at from the subject perspective, subjectively, what are those subjects if I learn from this university and apply it in a country like India or in the subcontinent, Asia subcontinent? This study which you are doing is from the study of researchers, and there are industry people who are the researchers who design this curriculum for you specially. Let's talk OD. You talk about OD. OD is organizational development. Who has designed the organizational development for the online business degrees? You ask them. It is somebody from the industry itself. Similarly, the law or other subjects, marketing subjects, they are being designed by the industry people itself. Why it is being designed and why is MIT spending so much? Because they want to give you a experience which is, again, that employee experience which I talked about, the customer experience, consumer experience, because they need to grow that relationship. It is not because any organization is a going concern. We all know, we have studied that. And this MIT also is a going concern, right? So when there is any organization which is there, or let it be your organization, it is going to sustain for years and years. And we are the people who are, just giving few part of our hours of our life to the institution. Some are giving it as a full time, some are giving it as a part time, some are giving it as a advisory or a pro bono. There are people who are contributing to it, and you have to understand that what do you need. If you need something to settle in US, then please. If you need something which will help you get across with other people in the country, then you have this degree. So have that understanding, analyze it.
sure. Great. Thank you. Sir Gulzar, there is a very good question asked by a student called Gulzar, who is basically asking a question as to how do we balance formal education with practical learning. I think she has a very specific question. If I may just find that out for you. Yeah. So apart from online degree, any company obviously will require experience and practical knowledge in a candidate like analysis, compensation, benefits, training, calibration, conflict handling. So her question is obviously for the HR function. So how does she deal with it? So she's assuming that she's doing an online program, an online MBA, and specializing in human resource. But what about those real work life skills? How to train on those areas?
So what I would suggest is that when you start looking again, it is the career trajectory now, because that is the need of the hour for you. You have done your specialization in MBA either online or offline, you have done that course. That's the platform for you to get into something. Now, once you start experiencing those challenges which are coming to you, and now you need to learn, then there are a lot of mentors who are there. There are a lot of modules which are available there. A lot of educational institutions are also there who are imparting such education, such phase-wise education, a course for 3 months, a course for 6 months, or a year course. They are offering those. Go and enroll yourself to those courses, and they are specialized courses in those areas. Management, then compliances, there is a special course. Drafting, there is a course on drafting itself. So you have to see what all courses do you really need to do, and they are available online. Get yourself enrolled for it, study that out, you will be able to understand and take it forward. But do have a mentor and a guide. Choose somebody who is able to help you narrate those or help you understand it better, so that your takeaways are good enough.
Absolutely. So to add to this, because a lot of people have this question on mentorship, because a lot of time people, especially the youngsters, they obviously want to learn beyond the book. So I just wanted to highlight a few points about the online MBA. And if I may just, if you may allow,
Please,
I,
please.
I can just present a screen, because this is a newly introduced concept. We have this career mentorship program, a part of the course curriculum, apart from the capstone project. So to answer your question, Gulzar, and for people who are looking for hands-on learning beyond the book, solve a real life case study while you are doing an online program. There is this capstone project which comes in the last 2 months of your program. It is obviously based on the specialization that you choose. That is a live project that you do in the program. So you actually hit a very good point on mentorship. So as a matter of fact, Amity at this point has what do you call that? There is a mentorship program which is layered into 3 aspects. If you can all see my screen, and I can
Yeah, we can
present
see.
you this. I'll just minimize this. Okay. So Gulzar, if your question to elaborate and expand on your question, this is what we're talking about. This is what Sir is also talking about, Mr. Keshri, that you need to find mentors, right? So this is the mentorship program, which is typically a part of your program. If you want, I can mail you this after this webinar is over. So our mentorship program, which we call as the dedicated career mentors, is divided into 3 phases. It's a 3-tiered approach. So there is guidance by industry leaders. So just like Mr. Prasad, Mr. Arun Prasad Keshri, who is delivering today's webinar, that is one way of looking at guidance by industry leaders. Mentorship by faculty is the second, right? So your teachers, your faculties who are teaching you the program also help you and also mentor you for a particular problem or for a particular project that you are engaged with. And the third option is the access to your alumni. So you will obviously want to also engage with people who have done an online degree and are currently working, and you would want to hear it from them as to how did they apply the online learning in their respective business degrees onto their real life, as far as your professional life is concerned. So these are your three-tiered approach as far as mentorship is concerned. There is mentorship by faculty, which we have already discussed. So we have all these global faculties in the program who will, apart from teaching your core subjects, will certainly handhold you and mentor you. There is this access to global network of alumni. As I just told you, we have some of the best people working in the industry who have done our online programs. We have people from LG, Hinduja Group, Cognizant, and people from Momentive Performance, Ritesh. So there is a host of career mentors divided into 3 sort of broad categories. One is industry lectures, webinars, just the way we're having this webinar with Mr. Kishri, who is an industry expert. Second is mentorship by your faculties, that's the one that we have covered here. And third is the access to the global network of alumni, which also forms a larger, a broader aspect of your mentorship. So there is really hands-on learning as far as industry and application is concerned. So I'll just stop my screen share and uh, I'll take on more questions, sir. So I hope this was self-explanatory, or this was sort of this directly gives you an answer for the question. Okay, so we have a lot of questions. Which field is best for internship? I think you need to first of all ask yourself what intrigues you the most. Marketing, HR, finance, people, events, digital marketing, numbers, statistics. So you need to ask this question yourself first, and then you can choose an internship accordingly. What kind of opportunities are there in the finance sector? So since people know that you're from the HSBC Bank, but you're obviously from a different domain. Your domain is HR. If you could just throw some light on the opportunities in finance that you perceive.
So, finance, if you really look at it, also has as HR is a core function of any industry, any business. Finance is also a core function of that business itself. So finance typically is not only the finance, bookkeeping, and all those stuff which we have studied in the MBA or BBA courses. Finance is much beyond that, and finance is also analytics. Look at how other organizations are working today. The analytics which you see, the Bombay Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange, how the currency is performing, how is it? If you are aware about all those things, and then you have a degree around it, then get to a mentor, understand from the person that what are those skills which are typically required, and you also have those abilities under you, you have those skill sets under you, and then you will able to go it. Now if I can't really bucket it that finance you have to do this, you have to do this, or bookkeeping, yeah, you have to go on Excel and maintain this data, or you have to do TDS calculation or tax calculation or so. It is not that. It is much beyond that. Look at it from a perspective that what all comes under finance, then you see where you fit. And
Yes.
when you know that you are fitting somewhere, then have a discussion with a mentor. I will tell you the mentorship program, what Dhruv mentioned is there on the MIT. Even, the platform, these social platforms which we are talking about, LinkedIn also has a mentorship program on it.
Yes.
You can approach on LinkedIn to any person that, sir, I would like to connect with you. You are an industry manager, assistant manager, leader, or whatever it is. This is my question regarding finance. I am a person from so and so background, and I have this question that I would like to pursue. These are the three answers. Can you help me with one of those answers? And any link which can help me study further on it.
Right.
Everybody is able to help you. The time would be, the turnaround time would be more. Somewhere it can be a 24 hours, 72 hours also, or a week also, but you will get the answer from those people. Nobody is going to stop helping. Everybody, because people also have children at their home, and they also need mentor for their children, because उनकी तो उनके घर में कोई नहीं सुनेगा. So they need mentors.
You're right.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
the truth.
You're right.
For my children, I need a mentor outside. I can't do a mentorship for my children because they will not
Yes.
listen to me.
Yeah.
Reality of life. Let's
Yes.
live practically. So therefore, if you reach to people on social networking site with a request and with a lot of politeness and due respect, you will get the answers. Even I do that.
Great.
Sometimes.
Great. Absolutely. So that's a wonderful way of putting it. So I think the mentorship program, one that it is taught in the Amity program, is a 3-layered approach, as we have already spoken. But I think you so rightly pointed out that in today's day and age of internet, where everything is just away, just a button away, a click away. I think LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, we have all these platforms where people are more than willing to help. In fact, I was talking to a social media executive the other day who reached out to me on LinkedIn and wanted to intern, and we got her on board. So there is no dearth of mentorship and directions if you really have this will. So we have very interesting questions coming in. There's a question from Sudha, who's asking about the acceptability of our Amity online program across the globe. Very quickly, I'll just share my screen, Sudha, and give you an answer. This is the global accolades that the Amity University online program have got. Our MBA, as I've just already spoken, is ranked among the top 35 MBA in the world, number one in Asia. Rank among the Amity University as it is ranked among the top 3 universities globally. The recent accolade that we got was this India's first university to offer online degrees. So the University Grant Commission has recognized this. WAAC and Q&A, which are the US and UK accreditation bodies, just like UGC is an accreditation body here. You know that WASC and QAA are respective accreditation bodies in US and UK, and so they have also recognized the program. I'll move on to other question, which is about HR. Poonam Bhalla wants to know how HR roles have emerged in these pandemic times. What new HR roles do you think, being an HR leader yourself, emerging in the future?
I talked about 5 things. I talked about adaptability.
Yes.
So adaptability is number one, which is being expected by the HR managers across. So HR have to adapt to the situation right now. They don't have to panic. If you don't have to panic, then what is that message are you sending to the employees across? That is the first fundamental of any HR business, that the HR person has to have. We talk about empathy. It is not only sympathy, empathy. It is the adaptability and the motivation of an HR person himself, herself, or self, who is talking to the employees across, and the way the employees are being talked to, or the way the employees are being approached. That is number one part. Number two part is inclusivity. The pain which you are going through is the similar pain which the other person is going through, and maybe that other person would be going through much more pain. I'll tell you, there is somebody who shared with me, when this lockdown started, in the second week, one of the employees said, सर मेरे पास घर पे तो टेबल कुर्सी भी नहीं है, मैं कहाँ बैठ के काम करूंगा. So the HR person spoke to me in 101 and was laughing. So I said कि आप जिस बात पे हंस रहे हो आज, 15 दिन बाद, 1 महीने बाद ये क्वेश्चन आप भी पूछोगे. And that HR manager then could not understand what I was saying. And lastly, after 1 month, the HR person understood, because every day 4 घंटे की अगर मीटिंग है पूरे दिन में on Zoom, the person has to sit somewhere. And if you do not have the right posture to it, we call it ergonomics. If you don't have that ergonomics at home, then you are in pain. आप कभी नीचे बैठ के लैपटॉप पे काम करके देख लो, बेड पे बैठ के देख लो, anywhere, you will see that pain. And then that day, the HR manager was able to understand what was that employee asking as. That is called inclusivity. You have to include that person in the same scenario where you are. Adaptability is one, inclusivity is another, universality, which I spoke about, that is the third part of it. You have to be, besides being agile and going forward, you also have to understand the current dynamics, the stress level somebody is feeling. How are you talking to them? Although you are going through the same stress, you also may be going through the same stress, but when you are talking to an employee, no, don't worry, the organization is with you, we all are with you. Koi baat ho to please, you may call me anytime. I'm available on SMS also. Although you are going through the same stress, and you also need to talk to somebody in order to remove that stress. But that is the approach what HR have been taught to take, and that is very challenging at times when you are stressed, when you are tense, when you are going through a tough time, but you need to maintain that balance. So those are few things which I would say that HR has to be, resilient is very important. HR has to be adaptability, inclusive. The HR has to think from a perspective where they are also carrying a brand value of the organization. बिकॉज उन्होंने कुछ गलत बोला तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम खराब होगा, अगर उन्होंने कुछ अच्छा बोला तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम का यार योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज तो ग्रेट.
Clearly, absolutely, sir. I think the HR role, the role of a human resource professional has even become more crucial. You rightly pointed out about that posturing thing, as to how crucial is it to really transit from a full-time setting to a remote working, and how crucial the role of human resource professionals are in terms of offering empathy and be more inclusive. So do you also see any new HR roles, particularly in the HR function, that may emerge in the
See,
future?
what I'm thinking is that every HR role will change into more of HR analytics. Now the data would be
Okay.
the big data which we are talking about. It is
Yes.
going to come and it is going to explode someday. Today everything is working on data, and what I think that every HR professional should have an ability, should have the capability of working on data. They should be able to understand the new tools which are coming up, how to
Yes.
do data analytics, how to do people analytics around it. When you are really talking about the data, the how can AI be, entangled, or how can
Yes.
AI be used, how
Yes.
is the machine learning going to help in our own day-to-day life? Those are few things as an HR we need to learn, and definitely we need to scale up and skill and upskill ourselves in order to address those things. And as soon as we do, otherwise what will happen, the jobs which the HR people are doing which are not skilled, machines will take.
Yeah. So I think we will soon turn on into dinosaurs if we don't change and
We will
upskill.
not turn into no, we will not turn into dinosaurs. It will not. What we will do, the aspiration at which and the speed of aspiration
Yes.
at which we are living, that will not be addressed. तो क्या होगा कि हमारा जो अपना एक्सपीरियंस होगा वो पूरा का पूरा चेंज हो जाएगा, और एक्सपीरियंस
Okay.
चेंज होगा तो वो मोटिवेशन थोड़ा खत्म हो जाएगा, अर्निंग कम हो जाएगी, ये सब चीजें होंगी. डायनासोर्स नहीं होंगे, ह्यूमंस चलेगा.
Okay. All right. So, Poonam, I think you can also look forward to one of our programs in HR Analytics, which is available at the Amity Future Academy. So you can find the link of the Future Academy on our website, and you can look at the HR Analytics. So you're absolutely right. I was just having this conversation with one of my friends who's working in Netflix, and he says that data is the new oil. And if you don't understand data, be it HR, finance, or marketing, you'll be left behind, because as you rightly said, AI, machine learning has all made uh, life easier for people for them to interpret data and to automate things. And HR could be predicting how many people will a particular you know uh, will a particular employee leave his or her job after 1 year or 2 year, can all be measured through data. So yeah, I think the role of data and analytics has become all the more important in today's world, given that a lot of jobs have been delegated to machines and robots. So that's absolutely good,
I'll
sir.
share one small
Sure,
story, very
sure,
small story.
sure.
So in Germany, what happened? This is a story about Mercedes Benz. So in Mercedes Benz, what happened? There were people uh, who used to fix the doors, and there was this one person who used to fix the logo. Logo उसका हाथ से लगाते हैं. They paste it, they remove the and then they have to do all those हाथ से ही करेंगे. Even today, till today, it is being done not done by machines. So what happened? These people who used to fix the doors and the bonnets and everything and the engines and all, they always used to laugh कि यार तू तो जिंदगी भर ना वो लगाता ही रह जाएगा और हम देख कहाँ निकल गए. What happened when the machine started taking over the manufacturing? Machines came in और machines ने दरवाजे लगाना शुरू कर दिया, machine engines लगाना सब कुछ शुरू कर दिया, मगर वो व्यक्ति, that person जो लोगो लगाता था, वो आज भी वहां लोगो लगा रहा है. So therefore, what will happen in the future, nobody knows about it. वो दरवाजे लगाने वाले जो हम technically बहुत सोच रहे हैं, पता नहीं कहाँ होंगे, लेकिन वो जो लोगो लगाने वाला है would be the important person now. So this world is changing, and what is the new normal? What is future? So it is suggested that go slow, आराम से समझो what is happening all around and look at it. What are those courses which are available? आप enroll करके अपना admission लेके अपनी पढ़ाई शुरू कर दो, ताकि आने वाला जो टाइम है, जब तक वो पार होगा, 2.5 महीने पार हो गए हैं, तब तक पार जब तक नॉर्मल होगा, I don't know when it is going to become normal. I don't know. I really don't know when it is, those new normal which we are talking about is definitely new normal now. Normal nahi hai. So we
Yeah.
need to, look at from that perspective.
Absolutely. So nobody can judge the future. But Sudha has a question, which I think you've indirectly answered when you say that invest your time in education, educating yourself. And and her question is how does this master's degree course will help her getting a good job. See, whether you get a good job or not is again futuristic, Sudha. I think what you can now do is, because as sir has rightly been saying, live in the present. So I think the only suggestion that we also say, because we have also seen in the COVID crisis that people taking up online education has increased, if not less, but tenfold. So people have now realized that upskilling and reskilling yourself is perhaps no longer a choice. It was a choice previously, but if you don't want to be left behind, I think upskilling and reskilling is the need of the hour. People who will do it, people who will scale through it, people who will skill themselves through an education, through an online learning, will certainly see the light of the day. I mean, we obviously don't know even the light on the tunnel on the other side, but what you can only do is you can upskill this crucial time in upskilling and reskilling, and so that's the clear writing on the wall. Somebody's asking about how much time does it require to do an online MBA. I think the time that we all watch Netflix and Amazon Prime or social media, that is the time required to do this online MBA. It's a very straightforward answer because uh, we spend a lot of time. Let's accept it. I also watch Netflix, and we all do. But the other day there was a professional who was asking me. I said that it's about it is obviously subjective because it is about 5 to 6 hours in a week or 6 to 7 hours in a week, and that is a fraction of a time that we watch Netflix and other social media channels. So while internet has given us online education and other such comforts, it has obviously made us very distracted too. So I think the answer to your question, when you say how much time is required, I think if you're not distracted, the only time that you require to do an online MBA is the time that you spent on Netflix or any other social media channel or any other OTT platform. I think that's the answer really, because you all have limited time, and time is money, as we all know. So, but purely from a man hours perspective, it is 6 2 hours in a week. It also depends upon how well you grasp it. We have this currently a free MBA session that we have given an access on our website. So for all of you who feel that you just want to get a hang of what are the subjects like and how the assessment happens and all of that, you can just log in there and get a good feel of how the content works. So it's free as of now, and then if you feel it, you want to really put in your fortunes on it, you can pay up and take admission. So that's how it is. So that the course is globally accepted, as I just told you earlier. Also, it's a globally recognized program. Uh, so people have this question, two three questions. I'll probably frame it or reframe it in one go, which is, will multinational companies, because you are obviously a HR leader in a multinational bank, how will they perceive online degrees? What would you say on that?
See, I'll tell you what is happening is that costs are going up. We all know about that,
Right.
right? And if you look at now, what is happening is that there are many organizations which are somewhere deferring salaries. There are many organizations who are cutting costs by various other means.
Yes.
Some of them are also looking at retrenching workforce and layoffs,
Right.
what we call it, and all.
Right.
Why is all this happening? This is all happening because the organizations which were there have been existing, have grown at a good pace, and simultaneously the salary has also gone at a good pace. Look at the salary benchmarking. If you read the Mercer salary benchmarking, you will understand how and where the salary has grown. Even today, a fresh MBA from an online degree, business studies, or from a regular one, you would see that where exactly it is going. Now today, the organizations are thinking that how can we cost effective, number one. Number two, how can we get a pool of people who have those skills, and where is that pool of people? If I want They are not talking about one person or two person. Look at an organization called Cognizant. Look at what is the number they are predicting to hire. Walmart is predicting to hire 1,000 people. Where will they get 1,000 people from? And those 1,000 people which they want are skilled people. Where will they get it from? They will get from universities which are like yours. So what I am trying to explain here is that organizations will keep picking 1, 2, 3 people from the A, B colleges. They will continue doing that because they would require uh, their own mandate is there and they would require to get that fulfilled. But over a large part of the portion of the organization would get the pool from such colleges only. And the colleges which you are running today and the courses which you are running today are again getting a lot of experience and expertise from those people who are teaching or who are giving the lectures as a faculty. They are people from the industry who have developed that course curriculum. There are people from the industry who are also teaching. Look at the global presence of your college, your institution, and look at those people who are associated with you. The kind of exposure and the learning which you are giving is definitely, when you are creating a pool, you will be able to supply 100 students in one go. Those other institutions will not be able to supply that 100 people. And of course, when I say 100 people, it is cost optimization also which is being looked at. So organizations are suffering from that. Look, it will happen. It is happening now also. And it is not that the people who have done online business education have not been in service. They are in service. I still remember when I was doing my MBA, there was this guy from one of the banks. I was in a winter trainee there, and I was reporting to somebody who was reporting to this regional manager in a banking industry. When I asked that person, that this regional banking manager, what is his degree, I wanted to, because of curiosity, I wanted to understand where is the person has an MBA degree from. And it was said that he has done his he has done his MBA in online. 15 years back, I'm talking about. So 15 years back, when anybody can be a regional manager in a banking industry without a full-time degree rather than an only a business degree,
Yes.
then look at the impact now. It is those skills which are going to. India is in dearth of people who are skilled, who can be, who are skilled enough to be employed. Please read, please Google it. You will understand, you will see the gap. And that is what your institution and your university is trying to do. We all are together through government intervention are trying to bridge that gap.
Absolutely.
So that we have that pool. Therefore,
Absolutely.
that's my
So,
answer.
yeah, wonderfully said, sir. Absolutely well put. In fact, just for our audience, just so you know that in the recent, it's not even recent now, in the March, February, sorry, the March budget speech, Nirmala Sitharaman spoke about having 100 online universities in India because they want to reach the last mile, right? So it kind of complements the point that we understand that there are many people who may not even afford a regular education, right? There are many people who may not have the means really to have access to higher education in the full-time setting, and therefore the government of India, in fact, have recognized this fact, and they've started this project wherein they will recognize 100 top universities who will impart online education. I mean, apparently we have got the first. We are the first, got the first mover advantage in the sense that we got the first ever UGC recognition to offer online programs. But you, as you rightly said, by giving the example that somebody, you need not make an impact only by doing going to a certain college or a certain rank college. If online education is something that is available, so it's through an education. You're right. The fundamental point that you're making is that through an education you only build skills. We at times look at education as just the final destination, where we forget that online education, or any education for that matter, is really a journey. So it's a means to an end rather than an end in itself, right? So I think with that we come to a very with that, we have to end this because we are well past the designated time.
Yeah, we have.
I think we have
And
taken a
second,
lot of your time. Yeah,
if you look at your UGC accreditation, that is
Yeah.
something, that gives, so UGC is very tough. AICTE, look at what has happened to many of the colleges in the under the AICTE and this UGC also. And if you as an university has UGC, then it gives a lot of boost also, because government is also pushing. And you said that last mile, गांव गांव को भी educate करना है. That is the
Right.
mantra. We
right.
need
That is
to,
the whole thing.
and I
Right.
think,
So I'm
rightly said.
extremely sorry for not taking all the questions. We had limited time. I think you've been a very patient audience, all of you. You'll all be receiving the recording link of this particular webinar in about an hour's time, and then you can obviously have a look at it. Sanjeet, I have your question about PhD. I think one of my program advisors will answer that. You can certainly do a PhD after an online MBA as long as that online MBA is recognized. I'm sure that you're talking about a PhD in India, so this degree gives you that platform to do a PhD. I'll answer that. I'll get that answer from one of my program advisors after the session. So a big thanks for all of you for coming in. A big thanks to you, Mr. Kesari, for sparing your time, and I'm sure that the audience extracted a lot of gems through this very intriguing and very richful conversation that we had. I just thank once again to my audience to be extremely patient. We actually do all these webinars twice a week. You can find the information on the Amity Online website. We have some more interesting topics coming in the coming future. Sir, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you,
wonderful.
heartfelt gesture that you came, and you obviously advised so many people on, and you really spoke like a mentor, really. And more than an industry expert, you literally, as most prolific HR professionals would do, they would get into the psyche of people and handle them psychologically. So wonderful having you, sir. I think we
Thank
look
you.
forward for having more such sessions. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Dhruv, and thank you on Amity Online for it, and thank you to all the participants. It was really good interacting with all of you, and thank you so much. Great
right, sir.
evening, and
Yeah.
tomorrow we have a new normal.
Yeah,
If-
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely,
Bye
absolutely.
bye. All the best. Stay safe.
All the
Stay
best.
healthy.
Take care,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right,
Thank
all
you.
right, participants. Bye bye.